Rebecca with LectinFree.Me. In my last video, I kind of gave you an overview of what lectin-free foods are, what you should eat when you're eating lectin-free. So those foods are fresh vegetables, good fats, good proteins, resistant starches, and fresh fruit. So today I want to talk to you about good protein and why good protein is so important. So I don't know if you're like me and you've seen all this grass-fed meat at the grocery store that's like $8 to $10 a pound and had sticker shock. Yeah. So I really had to work hard to talk my husband into trying the pastured poultry and the grass-fed meat. I did. He's like, I don't see what the difference is. He couldn't wrap his head around it. I said, well, let's just get one and try. Let's try it and see, because you don't know until you try. So let me just tell you why you want to eat protein that is grass-fed or it is raised on pasture. So first, let's talk about chickens. I don't know if you've had chickens. I've had chickens and fresh eggs, and there's a world of difference between the eggs that you buy in the grocery store that have been sitting there for weeks and weeks before you ever purchase them, and the eggs that you get fresh out of a chicken. A lot of difference. A lot of difference in taste, and a lot of difference in the shell, a lot of difference in just the look of the egg itself. So what do chickens eat? If you leave a chicken running around in your yard, it's going to eat all the bugs it can find. Chickens love bugs. They also like to eat seeds like grass seeds, and they'll nibble on leafy greens and I don't know, just about anything. Chickens like vegetables, and they like fruit. Chickens really like fruit, and that makes your eggs taste really good. So chickens eat bugs, which is protein, and they eat some seeds, and they eat greens. So if you're buying chickens raised on pasture, then they're out there foraging for themselves and feeding themselves. And then you can supplement that with, you know, scraps of stuff from your kitchen. But if your chicken is raised in one of these chicken houses, then it's not eating what it's supposed to be eating. It's eating something usually made from grain. So that's probably corn or soy. Now, if a chicken eats this, then that's going into the eggs. That's also going into the chicken meat itself. So when you are eating that chicken or that chicken's egg, you are eating the soy and the corn and whatever craziness that they might feed that chicken. We don't want that. It's not good for your body. So what about cows? I have goats, which are, you know, a cow cousin. They're not exactly cows, but I have goats. And what goats and cows and deer and other kind of grazers eat are grass. They like to eat grass. Yeah, a cow is not going to go hang out and eat corn all by itself. It's not. And goats will eat just about anything. They eat brambles, they eat leaves, they nibble on bark in the wintertime. But they're grazers too. They will pretty much eat anything that's green. That's their preference, to eat something that's green. But if these poor animals don't have the fresh greens that they're used to, especially if they're like locked up somewhere, then they're going to eat whatever it is that they have, that they're given to eat. They don't want to starve themselves. They want to survive like everybody else. So yeah, they're going to eat what it is that whoever's raising them gives them to eat. But that's not their preference. That's not their preference. And in fact, I think it was funny. I don't know if you guys know anything about permaculture, but I was watching a permaculture video, and Jeff Lawton had purchased a milk cow, and he raises his animals strictly on pasture, and it's pasture mixed with all kinds of different green growing things, you know, not just grass, but you know, all kinds of things that we would consider weeds. These grazing animals like to eat. That's why they're there. They're food for these animals. So anyway, so Jeff bought this new cow, and it, you know, wasn't a baby. It was an older cow, and he put it in the pasture with the rest of his cows. Well, this cow's stomach was not used to digesting what a cow would normally digest, and they ended up having to call the vet because this cow was like, yeah, it was in trouble because it was eating what it was naturally supposed to eat. It had been fed grain and so forth, and you wouldn't think that that would be such a big deal, but it really is. It's not what these animals naturally eat. Okay, so number one, not what they naturally eat. Number two, when they eat it and you eat them, then you're eating it too. So back to the grocery store. So we tried some grass-fed and pastured meat, and the quality of the meat is so much better. It tastes better, the texture's better, you feel better after you eat it, and there's not as much waste. Even just like ground turkey, pasture raised versus like what you get in the grocery store. What you get in the grocery store has got so much added stuff in it that you get all this liquid and stuff. The pastured turkey, ground turkey, when you cook it, we actually have to add a little bit of olive oil to it because it's so dry. It's just meat. It is like eating a slice of turkey breast at Thanksgiving. Now, I have never had ground turkey taste that good. I don't know about you guys, but it's awesome. So one thing about eating lectin free, if you look at the Plant Paradox, which I'm assuming possibly you've read, if you haven't, I would read that, is we as Americans, I don't know about the rest of the world, but I know we as Americans are eating too much protein. We don't need that much protein. We need to be eating more vegetables that actually contain protein rather than all of the animal protein that we eat. Now, I've tried being a vegan and I've tried being a vegetarian, and I just do better when I do eat animal protein. And you're going to have to work that out for yourself, for your morals, your ethics, and what your stomach tells you that you should and shouldn't eat. But I personally like to eat animal protein. But I've cut way back. I used to eat like a whole lot of protein. But I started weighing my food, and kind of depending on what health plan you're following, Dr. Gundry recommends like 2 to 3 ounces of protein. I seem to do well on 3 to 4 ounces of protein, so that is kind of what I follow. You're going to have to try it and see what works best for your body. And that is the best thing to do with any eating plan. Try and see what works best for your body and adjust accordingly. So I hope this has helped you. If it has, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to keep getting more videos about eating lectin free, hit the subscribe button. If you want to get notifications, hit that little bell button. And as always, I really appreciate you spending this time with me, and good luck on your lectin free journey.